In the dead of night, at 2:30 a.m., Ibrahim Traoré sat resolute in his office, the heart of Burkina Faso's presidential palace. The air crackled with urgency as phones rang incessantly, their shrill tones cutting through the tense silence. Gathered around a polished mahogany table were the central bank governor, the minister of economy, and a select group of trusted advisors, all locked in a critical emergency session. A chilling news alert flashed across the room's large screen. French banks had abruptly ceased all financial transfers to Burkina Faso, the International Monetary Fund had suspended loan payments, and the CFA franc, the lifeblood of the nation's economy, was being pulled from circulation. The country faced an economic abyss, with collapse looming within hours. Traoré's fist slammed against the table, his voice a blend of defiance and determination. "For too long, they've held us in chains," he declared. "Even our currency bows to their will." He turned to his team, his eyes alight with a vision so daring it stunned them into silence. "This is unthinkable," the finance minister stammered. "No nation has ever attempted this," an advisor whispered. Traoré's lips curved into a determined smile. "Then we shall be the pioneers." The meeting room was a pressure cooker of emotions. Beyond the palace walls, Ouagadougou's cityscape glittered under the stars, unaware of the seismic decisions unfolding within. Traoré walked to the window, hands clasped tightly behind his back, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon. "What are our reserves?" he asked, his voice steady despite the chaos. Dr. Amina Konate, the central bank governor, consulted her notes with a furrowed brow. "We have $400 million officially," she said, "but it's trapped in Paris accounts, beyond our reach." "And our gold reserves?" Traoré pressed. 78 tons, Konate replied, her voice faltering, "but they're stored in France." A bitter chuckle escaped Traoré's lips. Economy Minister Ousmane Sonko shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Mr. President, you must grasp the gravity of this," he urged. "To abandon the West African Economic Union and reject the CFA franc is to court disaster, economic suicide." Traoré whirled around, his eyes blazing with conviction. "Suicide, or emancipation? How can we claim sovereignty when we cannot even issue our own currency? The CFA franc is the last vestige of colonial oppression." Sonko spread his hands in exasperation. "The entire region is tethered to this system, Mali, Niger, Senegal, all of them. And all remain mired in poverty," Traoré countered, stepping closer to the table. "Do you understand why? Every note we print demands a deposit in France's treasury. We pay them to wield our own wealth. Is this what freedom looks like?" A heavy silence descended. For 7 decades, West African nations had operated under the CFA franc, a monetary system rooted in French colonial rule. Political independence was a facade. Real control resided in Paris. Dr. Konate took a deep breath. "Mr. President, we share your vision, but how do we proceed? We lack the infrastructure for a new currency, no printing facilities, no systems. And if banks face a mass withdrawal by morning?" Traoré placed a thick dossier on the table. "That's why I've been orchestrating this in secret for the past 3 months." The advisors exchanged stunned glances. "Operation Sankara," Traoré announced, invoking the revolutionary legacy of Thomas Sankara, a dream of true financial independence. As he opened the dossier, the room erupted in gasps. Inside were comprehensive plans for a new currency to supplant the CFA franc, the Burkina Gold. "This is beyond our means," the finance minister sputtered. "Our foreign reserves are insufficient, and without international backing," Traoré interrupted, producing a gleaming coin from his pocket. It featured a majestic baobab tree on one side and Burkina Faso's silhouette on the other. "This is the Burkina Gold prototype," he said, "forged from 100% Burkinabe gold, extracted and refined on our own land." Konate's voice trembled. "Foreign corporations dominate our mines and track our gold exports." "Not anymore," Traoré replied, his tone resolute. Sonko shot to his feet. "You've nationalized the mines?" "Officially, at dawn," Traoré said calmly. "But the operation began 3 hours ago. Our armed forces are securing every mining site. French and American executives are being courteously escorted to the border. The room buzzed with a mix of awe and apprehension. The strategy was bold, fraught with risk, but undeniably brilliant. What about sanctions, trade embargoes? Conate asked. The West will stop at nothing to break us. Let them try, Traoré said. To punish us, they need access, and that's where Phase 2 comes into play. He pressed a button, and a digital world map illuminated the screen, with Russia, China, Iran, Turkey, India, and Brazil marked in bold. For the past 6 months, we've negotiated clandestine trade pacts with these nations, Traoré revealed. We'll trade in their currencies, sidestepping the dollar and euro. Our gold will go directly to them, and they'll provide technology, machinery, and essentials. Zongo's voice quavered. I was kept in the dark. You didn't need to know, Traoré said kindly. Had French intelligence caught even a whisper, this financial stranglehold would have struck months earlier. Conate lifted the coin, its surface catching the dim light. It's magnificent, she said, but will the people accept it? Old habits cling tightly. Traoré grinned. For generations, our people have trusted gold at jewelers. We're offering them tangible value, not flimsy paper. But here's the true revolution. He opened another file, revealing designs for a digital platform. The Burkina Digital Wallet, he declared, a free mobile app for every citizen. A gold-backed digital currency. Secure, transparent, and entirely free from Western banking systems. The finance minister shook his head, marveling. This is lunacy, and sheer brilliance. But how do we convince the public? Traoré's assistant entered. Mr. President, the secure video link is ready. Traoré turned to his team. Let me show you how we win their hearts. The screen flickered to life, connecting leaders from Mali, Niger, Guinea, Togo, and Benin. My fellow presidents, Traoré began, we've all felt the West's economic news tighten tonight. But we are prepared. Allow me to share our blueprint. 2 hours later, the room's atmosphere had transformed, fear had given way to a shared resolve. As the first light of dawn crept through the windows, Traoré addressed his advisors. A new era is dawning, not only for Ouagadougou but for all of Africa. Conate closed her laptop. Will you address the nation tomorrow? No, Traoré replied. I'll speak now. Our people must hear the truth before they reach the banks. They deserve pride, not panic. Within minutes, an emergency broadcast was arranged. At 6:30 a.m., as Burkina Faso's citizens stirred to prepare their morning meals, Traoré appeared on television screens nationwide, his military uniform conveying authority and calm. People of Burkina Faso, he began, I address you in these early hours because last night, French banks and Western financial institutions launched an economic offensive against our nation. They've severed our access to funds, blocked transfers, and cancelled loans. Murmurs of unease rippled through homes, cafes, and street gatherings. You know their motive, Traoré continued. We seek true independence. We demand ownership of our resources. Burkina Faso belongs to its people. He held up the gold coin, its luster captivating the camera. Today, we cast off the colonial CFA franc. We embrace our own currency, the Burkina Gold, backed by our nation's gold, embodying real value. Then he raised his phone, displaying the Burkina Digital Wallet app, its interface glowing brightly. This will be freely available to every citizen. No longer will you depend on banks, your digital gold is yours to control. Across the country, viewers watched, some with trepidation, others with burgeoning hope. This is a monumental change, but have no fear, Traoré said. All CFA franc accounts will be converted to Burkina Gold at double their value. No one will lose, every citizen will gain. Small cheers broke out in homes. But there's more, Traoré added. We stand united. The screen split, revealing leaders from Mali, Niger, Guinea, Togo, and Benin, each announcing their departure from the CFA franc, adopting their own gold-backed currencies. This is not a revolt, Traoré proclaimed. It's an evolution, the final stride toward true liberation. As the broadcast concluded, the streets hummed with excitement rather than panic. Citizens began downloading the Burkina digital wallet app, its intuitive design sparking widespread enthusiasm. In Paris, at 7:45 a.m., the French central bank was in disarray. 6 nations have exited the system in unison, an executive reported, his voice trembling. This is a synchronized strike. Worse still, their digital wallets are spreading rapidly, millions of downloads in mere hours. No bank runs. The bank president reached for his phone. Get me the Ministry of Finance. They're already calling, his aide said, handing over the device. The voice on the line was frantic. The mines are lost, energy contracts terminated, military base permissions revoked. West Africa is slipping from our grasp. Back in Ouagadougou, Traoré monitored the global response. Western media painted apocalyptic pictures, economic catastrophe grips Africa, Traoré's reckless bet dooms Burkina Faso. Yet messages of solidarity flooded in from Russia, China, India, Turkey, Brazil, and South Africa. Pledges of trade, recognition of the new currency, and offers of partnership. Konate rushed into the room, her face alight with excitement. Mr. President, 4 million citizens have downloaded the app, nearly a fifth of our population. Traoré smiled. Freedom has a powerful allure, Konate. And it's spreading. Downloads are surging in Ghana, Congo, and Senegal. A week later, Traoré stood in a rural village square, surrounded by curious farmers. An elderly man held a phone, his expression uncertain. I don't know how to use this, Mr. President, he said bashfully. Traoré sat beside him, patient and encouraging. Press this button, and your wallet opens. Here's your Burkina Gold. The farmer's eyes widened. This is the true worth of my money? Yes, Traoré affirmed. No one can freeze it or block it. It's your freedom. The farmer pressed the phone to his chest, his voice trembling. For the first time, I feel my wealth is secure. The IMF had forecast Burkina Faso's collapse within weeks. A month passed, and the economy stood firm. 2 months, and trade volumes climbed. 3 months later, Traoré spoke at the BRICS summit in Moscow, where global leaders hung on his every word. The gold standard was abandoned decades ago, Russia's president remarked. You're resurrecting it. Not the past, Traoré corrected. The future, digital gold, rooted in our resources. The Chinese leader leaned forward. Your wallet technology could redefine global finance. The agreements Traoré secured at the summit sent shockwaves through Western media, energy and defense pacts with Russia, technology and infrastructure deals with China, medicine and agriculture collaborations with India, food security initiatives with Brazil, and industry and education partnerships with Turkey. Headlines screamed alarm, Burkina Faso abandons the West, Traoré's perilous gamble. Traoré chuckled. We're not abandoning the West, he told Konate. We're embracing the world, no single overlord, only equal partners. His phone displayed the Burkina digital wallet's metrics, 12 million active users, 2 million daily transactions across 6 nations, 0 downtime, 0 breaches. 6 months later, the African gold was born, uniting 14 African nations. The CFA franc faded into obscurity. At the inauguration of Burkina Faso's new central bank, Traoré stood before gold-plated doors safeguarding reclaimed reserves. We're not merely opening a building, he told the gathered crowd. We're opening a new chapter. Our gold, once locked in foreign vaults, is now here, under our sovereignty. A woman in the crowd wept, Thomas Sankar's widow. He would have cherished this moment, she said, grasping Traoré's hand. Financial freedom was his greatest aspiration. We're fulfilling it, Traoré replied, because of the seeds he planted. At the Burkina Technology Center, young engineers refined the digital wallet with blockchain technology, designed entirely by Africans for Africans. The IMF president, speaking with a strained smile, conceded, we're engaging with Burkina Faso's new system. Translation: they could no longer halt the momentum. A year later, Traoré took the stage at the United Nations General Assembly. His speech was concise yet resonant. A year ago, 6 nations dared to act. Today, 22 African countries embrace the African gold. Inflation has plummeted, trade has soared, technological investment has tripled. Western delegates shifted uneasily. They predicted our failure, our starvation, our collapse, Traoré said, his smile unwavering. We didn't argue. We achieved. The hall erupted in applause, a testament to a continent breaking free from centuries of economic bondage. Across Burkina Faso, the Burkina digital wallet app continued to thrive, with 15 million users and 3 million daily transactions. In villages and cities alike, citizens marveled at the power in their hands, a currency backed by their own gold, a system built by their own ingenuity. The elderly farmer from the village square, now adept at using his wallet, taught his neighbors, his pride infectious. This is our freedom, he said, and no one can take it away. In Paris, the French president embarked on a desperate tour of former colonies, promising a new era of partnership. But the old narratives rang hollow. At a press conference, an African journalist challenged him. How do you view West Africa's shift to gold-backed currencies? The president's smile was tight. We respect their choices, he said, but I must caution against the risks. Laughter rippled through the room, a sign that the old power dynamics had crumbled. Back in Ouagadougou, Traoré walked through the Burkina Technology Center, where young innovators were developing the next generation of the digital wallet, faster, more secure, and integrated with regional trade systems. The African gold had grown beyond a currency. It was an ecosystem, from mining to refining, from technology to security, all crafted by Africans for Africans. Western analysts, once dismissive, now scrambled to study the model. The global financial system was shifting, and Burkina Faso was at its forefront. As Traoré stood on a balcony overlooking the capital, Dr. Konate joined him, her tablet displaying the latest figures: 20 million app users, 5 million daily transactions, and 25 African nations exploring the African gold. We've sparked a movement, Mr. President, she said. Traoré nodded, his gaze sweeping over the city. This isn't just our freedom, Konate. It's Africa's awakening. And we're only getting started.